Hello everyone, Richard here with another episode of Odin's Wisdom. Real quick, throw out the disclaimer, video is not for children, it's not intended for children. Children, if you are watching this, turn it off. Alright, with that little disclaimer out of the way. As you saw from the intro credits, we got some new music that we actually own the rights to use with our videos. We got that yesterday. That was pretty cool. Hope you guys liked it. Let me know in the comments below what you think of that. But moving forward, you saw in the credits that today's episode is titled Pretenders versus True Norse. The biggest reason that I want to discuss this is because I see every day a lot of people pretending to be Norse, and it's not fair to yourselves, it's not fair to the gods, it's not fair to other Norsemen or women, and I wanted to call you guys out on that. The easiest example I can be able to give you is going to be, take a Christian. Okay, we're just going to use this as a reference. It's not me bashing Christianity in any means. But you have some that proclaim to be a devout Christian. According to the Christian religion, you should give tithes every week. According to the Christian religion, you should visit church every week, amongst other things. But the key point behind this is that these people who claim to be Christian, and then when they go home, they get drunk, beat their wife, molest their children, but then they go to church the next week, and all of a sudden their sins are supposed to be absolved. I don't know. Or they put on this facade that they're somebody they're not, at least in public viewing. Well, that same kind of thing is what's going on here. And I think that it's because a lot of people think, oh, it's so cool to be Viking. Woo! It's Norse, yay! And while I think it's cool, what I've been practicing for 16 years, day in and day out, every single day. And I show it every single day. And I'm not afraid to show it every single day. I adhere to the standards that my ancestors showed me. Excuse me. I adhere to the common culture and traditions. And some of those that maybe aren't necessarily as common, whether somebody's watching or not. And this video is not intended to point any one specific person out that I deal with on a regular basis or even a non-regular basis or anything like that. This video is simply to point out that if you are not being true to yourselves and to the Norse religion, then maybe it's not for you. But don't sit there and pretend to be a Norseman by saying, yay, I'm gonna die and go to Valhalla. Oh. Guess what? Chances are you're not going to fucking Valhalla. Let's be real. Okay? Number one, there are 4 realms of death. Heimdall being one of them. And then again, of course, we have hell, which is H-E-L, not H-E-L-L. Do not mistake them. Also, the places are completely different from one another, as far as hell is concerned. The other thing I see on a regular basis is people going, "Skaw." Yay, great, whatever. Okay, but they use it every other sentence. "Skull, brother, skull, brother, skull, brother." Come on. Just because you say it doesn't mean that you are. Just because you say it doesn't mean that it's what should be said. I don't know how many of you have read the Volsunga Chronicles or the Volsunga Saga, But chapter 37 talks about a story of the battle in the burg of King Atu. It's a good story, but one of the lines that is said in that story makes a really, really valid point, and I think it really relates to the message that I'm giving you today. And the quote is, "For brethren, we were we, and now am I left alone. Great affinity I got to me, and deemed my fortune well sped. Thereby a wife I had fair and wise, high of mind, great of heart, but no joyance may I have of her wisdom. For a little peace is betwixt us, but ye have slain many of my kin, and beguiled me of the realm of riches. And for the greatest of all woes, have slain my sister." Now, the reason I feel like that is a relevant line is because even with all of those physical, worldly things taken away from him and given to him, he still held true to himself, okay, and to the gods. You should be doing the same. If you're not truly 110% committed to being Norse, you're not Norse. Running around saying skull or watching episodes of Vikings, which, whatever, that's all. I'm not going to get off on a rant on that. But even watching episodes of Vikings does not make you a Viking. It does not make you a Norseman. In fact, according to dictionary.com, one of my favorite sources for information, Norse is primarily a language and a heritage out of Norwegian, or out of Norway, by the Norwegians. That's how they define being Norse. They do have a couple of other definitions that briefly talk about how it's a practice, it's a culture, it's a lifestyle, things like that. So that being said, there is far, far more that goes into it and being Norse than what a lot of people are doing. You know, and it's a degree of commitment. It's a degree of, if you tell somebody you're going to do something, you follow through, period. You know, that's part of the culture. You look at any one of the gods or goddesses, and when they said they would do something, it was done. You know, Loki being a trickster and kind of a defiant child, if you will. Not necessarily the coolest person in the world, but when he said he was going to do something, he did it. And he was true to himself. And that's of all the gods. They're all true to themselves. You need to be as true to the gods as you are to yourself. Stop pretending. Case in point, I practice every holiday with various blots, various rituals and ceremonies and things like that. I'm even looking into getting my Gothai certificate and becoming an ordained Gothai. If you don't know what Gothai is, you probably are not a true Norseman. Basically what that means is I'm a Norse minister, preacher, priest, whatever you want to call it. Now, does that make me better than anybody else? No. Absolutely not. I'm no better than the next person. What it does make me, though, is true to not only myself, but to the gods and the Norse and the religion as a whole, as well as the culture. I think too often we get lost in the fantasy of being Norse. You see depictions of Ragnar Lothbrok or Rollo Lothbrok or hell, even Lagatha. And you think, oh my God, that is so awesome. And for intensive purposes, it was awesome. Some of the parts of that series are completely inaccurate. There are fragments of Norse mythology / history within this show, but they're so minuscule you couldn't even base your whole religion or belief system around that. You want to know what it means to be Norse? Read the Eddas. You want to know what it means to be Norse? Read some of the sagas. Whether it's the Volsunga saga or the saga of Eric the Red or the Gisla saga or any one of them. Okay? And you will see that there's a lot more that goes into it than just claiming it. I'm sick and tired of every time I go anywhere online. I don't typically see it in real life, but anywhere online, and you see people pretending, talking about when they die they're going to go to Valhalla, talking about Ska, and saying to Valhalla. It makes my skin crawl to see this fakeness out there, and it drives me crazy. And I'm not even one of the gods. So imagine, if you will, for just a moment, how pissed off they get when they see people claiming their names or trying to falsely represent them or pretending to be of a Norse. And I've had it. So that's why this video came out. And because, again, like all the previous videos, the gods have kind of directed me, if you will, into where it is these series and these videos should go, and the things that I should talk to you about. How many of you know the true Norse calendar? You don't need to answer me. Answer yourself. That is one of the simplest things, as a Norseman, you should know. Next to that, how many of you know not only what the runes look like and what all of them are called, but what their definitions are in terms of when it comes to rune casting and what they mean? You should. I do. Being Norse is studying every day. It's doing everything you can, reading every piece of material you can get your hands on, and actually living life the way our ancestors and the gods told us and showed us firsthand how to do it. That's what being Norse is. Remember that. It's easy to put on a show. The cool thing about pretending, though, is that you can literally watch somebody pretend, but eventually they're going to slip up. And when they do, it's because it's not who they truly are. It's because it's not truly what they believe in. Okay? And it goes across all religions, all facets of life. Period. And really, what do you gain by pretending to be something that you're not? If you ask me, if you're fake with yourself, you're going to be miserable. Like, straight up fucking miserable. Don't do it. So, don't be fake with the gods either. With that, yep, she's on camera. She got busted. At any rate, not only will you be miserable with yourself by pretending to be Norse or being anything that you're not, and that you don't have 100% commitment in, doesn't matter. Okay? You're going to be miserable. And if you're miserable, how miserable do you think that makes the gods? Knowing that you're calling out their names, or pretend blessing them, or pretend calling upon their powers, or maybe even not necessarily pretending upon calling upon their powers, but doing so out of greed. Just some food for thought, guys. That said, I do love you guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please leave your comments below for me. I do need those because it gives me feedback on your perception and your ideas and where you're at and your path for Norse. Also, hit the subscribe button up here, and you can also check out the latest video over here. We love you, and until next time, may the gods bless you and keep you and your families safe.